Hey guys, welcome to Throttle Therapy. We're doing episode 1, Beyond the Battlefield. And here today we have our first VeteranMX member. We have Rick Van Dyk. Yep, we're out here at Oatfield. He's running the Over the Hill gang. And I want to start off by asking you, how's the day going?
Day's going pretty good, man. We just wrapped up Moto 1. And we got a good start and felt good out there. Just kind of flowing a little bit. And we're just having a good day. Good day so far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, no, I seen you out there. You're riding nice and consistent. Good moto. Dirt looks good. It looks like it's going to get rough at the end of the day.
It's going to get rough. It always does here. This track shapes up like completely different than any of the other tracks here in Northern California. And so it can get totally deceiving. A lot of braking bumps, accelerating bumps, some square edge. And it's nice and fast. It's gonna by our second round. It's gonna be rough.
Yep, I can tell. I'm glad I'm not out there for the later motos. Yeah. Hopefully it stays a little damp though and doesn't get too dry. So Rick, I wanted to know. So what's your background? Well, I know we have a VeteranMX member here. So can you give a quick synopsis on what your background is in the military?
Well, let's see. I enlisted in 1980, and I went to boot camp, CRD. I'm Marine Corps. I went to MCRD San Diego. I enlisted as a motor transport. I was a driver, motor vehicle operator. Went to Camp Pendleton, and then from there, I was in a typical truck company, hauling troops around out at Camp Horno at Camp Pendleton, and then. Like in 83, I got transferred to another unit. I went on to UDP to Okinawa with 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, and then I came back, re-enlisted. I went to Marine Corps Base, Camp Pendleton, as a licensing examiner. I was a corporal then. So I worked at the base licensing for a little while. And then I got selected to go over to Tickets and Tours to actually drive a tour bus for the Camp Pendleton, which was super cool. Got to travel all around the western United States, basically driving a Greyhound bus for retirees on weekend trips and, Price is Right, Disneyland. I did that for a couple of years. Re-enlisted, went to 2nd Battalion, 11th Marines. I went to an artillery unit, which was Delta 212. Spent some time there. And 29 Palms is with the Cannoneers.
Right on.
Putting steel on target. And then I did a full tour there almost 4 years, and then went back to Okinawa, Japan for a UDP. Went to the Philippines, did a bunch of shooting, and then from there, I went to 1st Battalion, or 1st Marine Regiment. I was a regimental motor transport chief as a sergeant. And then went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Came back from that. That was totally crazy. I got involved in the Marine Corps combat motorcycle program at that time.
Oh, man.
And
lucky, man.
I know. It was super cool. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Help with the curriculum for that and a lot of the training, because I've been riding my entire life. Yeah. So it was kind of natural. And then I got orders to 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. Went on another Westpac. Went back to the Middle East again. And we did a little bit of operations over in Somalia, and with some Air Force combat air traffic controllers. I can tell you, this is a super cool story if you want to get into it. We got to come back to it because it's super cool, and it's got to do with the CMCs, the combat motorcycles.
Okay.
And then after that, it was I went to a communications unit. I got promoted to staff sergeant, and then I went back to 1st Battalion, 4th Marines as a gunny. Went on another Westpac. On the USS Tarawa again. Did a real-world operation. We did a NEO in Eritrea on the Horn of Africa. And then my last tour of duty, I was went to I Sacramento, which was I was a active duty on a reserve unit then, and so I was the training. Basically the S3 for Motor Transport Maintenance Company, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was the training chief. So that was my 20 years in about 5 minutes.
Oh, wait, that you covered all of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, you know, it's there's so much ground to cover but it goes by so fast.
Oh yeah.
You know, that 21 actually, it goes by so quick. You don't even know it's over with until it's over.
Yeah, I was just shy of 12 years with active Army and then National Guard accumulated together, and those 12 or almost 12 years was like by in a flash, instantly. Like we enjoy our time and, you know, try to make the best relationships we can, and we definitely do in our time in. But yeah, it goes by way too fast.
It does, and then you know, you meet people, and you become super great friends, and all of a sudden you get orders, and then, you know, in the Marine Corps is so freaking small. He goes to Lejeune, you go to Okinawa, and then you're walking out of the PX with a 6-pack of a Kirin, and you're like, yo, what's up? And here you are at Camp Foster in Okinawa, Japan, right? 3 years later, and you just pick up right where you left. The camaraderie is you know, what you develop over the time is lifetime memories, man.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely, and that really coincides with us being part of VeteranMX too. It crosses right over. We come to a small community of people that are very, you know, like-minded individuals, and we're able to really connect.
Well, we all walk the same common ground.
Yep.
Right? We all went to boot camp. We all got hazed to death, right? In boot camp.
Hazed.
And so on and so forth. And then we all suffered like the same amount of craziness out in the field, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, no sleep, no shower, you know, 35 days and 29 palms,
Yeah.
firing artillery, and you're covered in sweat from head to toe. Civilians can't talk about that.
Nope.
They can't talk about it.
Not the same.
You know?
It's definitely not the same.
Shit, my dad's calling me.
Go ahead, I can cut that out.
take-
You're good.
Yeah, just come in. No, make a right. Make a right. Yeah. Over here. And then park on the other side of my pickup, okay? All right, bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can cut all that out. It's all good.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, let's hear about you said the CTC. Combat
the
control?
combat motorcycle. So in, you know, the Marine Corps, we had combat motorcycles, right? They were developed by a company called Hayes Diversification. They were out in like Hesperia, California, and they were a Kawasaki KLR 250, right?
Okay.
And so then they made these like little saddlebags for them to put these little document holders on them, and crash bars, and for around the handlebars, and skid plates, and so on and so forth. And so basically they were used for, the doctrine of it was to insert snipers to a degree.
Okay.
Right? Long range.
Yep.
They could ride out, drop the bike in the bushes somewhere, and then go do what they needed to do. They were used for convoy control.
So pretty much you can implement a sniper team, do what they need to do.
Yeah, and we used them. They were used for convoy control. They were used for couriers. The MPs used them. We took them to Desert Shield, Desert Storm with us. I was in Task Force Papa Bear with 1st Marine Regiment. We took like all 8 of ours to Saudi. We seriously used them. And so the schoolhouse at Camp Pendleton, 1st Marine Division schools, they developed a curriculum, and it was based off of the old Malcolm Smith off-road handbook from way back in the day. And so that's...
Now I lost my spot.
So
Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. So that was the basic, that was the basis for the off-road training.
That's cool.
Was the Malcolm Smith off-road handbook from like 1977 or something, and like log crossings and traversing, you know, going up hills and so on and so forth. So out at Camp Pendleton, that's where we did it. And it's just, I mean, like, the absolute best riding ever is at Camp Pendleton.
Oh, yeah.
You know, except for doing it on these pig KLR 250s with no suspension and so on and so forth. So then we started working with progressive suspension and springs, and we started setting up the bikes for heavier springs and for the suspension. Because when a Marine with all his combat gear, and it was just riding low, and we were breaking wheels and frames, and it was crazy, you know.
Oh yeah, so, I can imagine. I know what that's like.
And they had blackout lights on them.
Really?
Yeah, like literally that was part of the course. Was we would like do blackout rides at night on the bikes with the little blackout lights. For those of you that ever drove tactical vehicles, you know what the blackout lights are, right? The KLRs had those on the back of them, and then we had the little light on the front. It was crazy.
That's pretty cool.
It was crazy.
That'd be a piece that I'd want to have.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
As much as I wouldn't want it. Well, KLR 650 would be fun to ride around on the road.
Well, that was our second bike.
Really?
We went from the KLR 250 to the KLR 650.
Okay.
I wasn't around for that one.
Yeah.
And then Hayes Diversified actually developed a diesel Kawasaki in the diesel for the military application.
I'd seen
and
that.
It would run on. It was, you know, it was set up to be ridden in the Middle East on
JP8?
JP8 and that kind of fuel, you know.
Okay.
So anyway, it was a cool program, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So getting back to those, a real quick story about them.
Of course.
Our first deployment I was on with 1-4, we were out. We just got done training in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and we were going to head to Australia, to Darwin to go do some training, and we got turned coming like out of the Straits of Malacca or whatever it was, and we were headed toward Africa, right?
Okay.
And so this was right like when Somalia was just like, it was when the UN was going to go in. So part of our ships went to Pakistan and got some Pakistanis, offloaded all the military. They went to Karachi, unloaded. The rest of us, we stayed afloat. We were on the big ship. I was on the Tarwa. So it was it's an LHA, helicopter landing ship.
Okay.
They flew in these Air Force combat air traffic controllers, and they took our KLRs. We had 4 of them on deployment with us. Every day, we would gas them up, check them over, make sure everything was cool. The Air Force air combat controllers, we would load them into Hueys, land them into Mogadishu International Airport. They would ride the airport, survey the grounds, set up all their comm gear, and call in C-130s and land UN troops. And then our Hueys would fly back in at night, pick these guys up. We would unload the bikes, clean the air filters, fuel them, all this other stuff, get them ready to go for the next morning.
Yeah.
And then of course, like, I don't know what that guy's name was, Azid or whatever it was. He started bombing the airport, the runways. So then the Marines, we would go in there, fly in by helo with shovels and rakes and fill in all the mortar holes and compact it down so the planes could land, and then the PJ, the air traffic controllers on the KLRs, would just ride all over the place. It was crazy, but those motorcycles were mission essential for what we were doing.
Absolutely.
in off the coast of Somalia at that time. And
Yeah.
it was insane, man.
Yeah.
And our mechanic, I had a motorcycle mechanic. You know, he was a regular motor transport. He worked on Humvees and shit, but he was super good at working on dirt bike. He got a Navy Achievement Medal for keeping those motorcycles going for like 2 months.
That's awesome.
Because those things would break down every damn
every day.
You know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, mission essential. It's crazy to think that to stay combat effective, you can use literally motorcycles.
Yes.
I mean, they've been used in combat forever, but
Right,
it's really
World War
cool.
II, man. They had
Yep.
sidecars on them.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
That's
Dirt
awesome.
bikes have been a part of our military service for so long, man, and it still is with our camaraderie and so on and so forth with
Absolutely.
VeteranMX, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then we had VeteranMX. So did you go to the Kansas?
I did.
This
I
last
I
year?
went to Kansas, yeah.
How'd that go?
Man, you know, so like that was I've been wanting to go, and Peter Lindquist, you know, he honchos. He's so behind the scenes on that thing.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he was like, "Hey man, you're gonna go." This was last year, so I was like, "All right." So I took all my trash, brought it up to his house up in Santa Cruz, and he loaded everything up and he took it out there for me. I flew in, total strangers, right? But we all got something in common. They picked me up at the airport, total strangers. They were like, "Oh, we know you. Get in. We're taking you to the track."
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And so got to the track. I had a trailer to stay in. Man, 100% expectations was met, right?
Yeah, blown out of the water.
Blown
the first
out of
time
the
I went.
water by the amount of logistics that goes into it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people Pete has in his corner, but it's not enough.
No.
You know, to make
Yeah, you're right.
to make it work, right?
Absolutely.
So I had a good time. I probably wish I would have had an extra day to learn the track. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think I would have wiped some butts, man. But I ended up like second and third or a fourth or something like that. You know, I mean, I brought 3 rings home. I brought 3, gang. I brought 3 rings home. So not bad for an old dude from California.
Oh yeah.
Riding back in Kansas. But it was super cool. The pit bike Saturday night before the lightning storm and the rainstorm was amazing. There's some things I just cannot show in public, but it was insanely fun. So if any of you VeteranMX guys are watching this and you're thinking, I want to go to this, you need to go. And
Find a way. It's unbelievable.
So check it out. We're there Sunday, getting ready for the award ceremony, and the dude from Vegas, Mario,
Yeah.
the jokester guy that wears all the crazy costumes.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're talking, and his Instagram handle is Orno Cloud, right? Orno in Spanish means oven, and I'm like, hey man, what's up with that? What's up with that Orno Cloud? Were you stationed at Camp Orno at Camp Pendleton? He's like, yeah, I was in 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. I was like, no way. I said, I was in 1-4. And he's like, when? And I was like, from this time to this time. He was like, bro, we went on deployment together. He was a little Lance Corporal, fucking destroying my Humvees, right? Because he was a driver, and I was the gunny. And anyway, so that was the bond. That was the connection. 1987, 88, 80, that time frame. And I run into this guy, Middle America, in Kansas, at a motocross race.
Yep.
And we sweated the same. It was awesome, man.
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
awesome, dude.
Peter does such a good job doing all the logistics and stuff, like you said. And I remember I went in 23, and I had a blast. And it wasn't where it was from last year, from what I heard, with him being able to have the campers for everybody and everything. And I just couldn't make it, and I knew I wanted to because I'd already been there the year. I think I'd been back from Iraq for a month when I went. Like we did the embassy guard there in 23, and I've never been to an event that was that much fun. and that easy to get along with people.
Yeah.
So like he said, if any of you guys in VeteranMX who are newer or have not been able to make the trip, if you can set aside a little bit of savings to be able to get out there or just communicate with some people, because I know, like, Peter's one of the guys who will load your bikes up and just get out there.
He did.
And we do have other people. I know if I'm going, if I have room, I'll load your bikes up. I'll get you there. And if I have an extra seat, like, jump in. Like, you guys need to experience it. Bruce Richardson down there at Bar to Bar MX. I served at Fort Riley for 4.5 years. So I raced at Bar to Bar quite a bit in Kansas.
Oh, okay.
So I was super pumped going there, thinking I was going to, like, just clean the slate there.
Right.
But I just spent 9 months in the Middle East again, so I came out there and it was a little rough. Bikes were a little beat up, but I didn't even need to ride. Just being there was more than enough of an experience to really enjoy myself and just get away from the home life of going to work, dealing with stressful things, if I was dealing with stressful things at that time, post-deployment, obviously. So it was super nice to be able to get out there and meet everybody that I met. And I know some of the guys who were out there will definitely see this and be able to tell their other members to be able to make it this next time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it's a good time. The humidity was a little freaky, man.
Yeah.
From coming from the West Coast. Gosh dang, I put my gear on Friday when I got there, like at 1:30 in the afternoon. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna melt.
Yep.
And,
it's different.
It was super cool. Format was good. Chow was awesome. Breakfast and dinner was provided for us through donations of vendors around the area. They see it, right? They see, they're into it, and they see what's going on, and obviously, I mean, like I'm 62, probably a couple of I was the oldest guy there,
Yeah.
and so I'm not a GWAT guy, right? I retired in 01, so my camaraderie is the same but different, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
We all shared the same thing. We walked the same ground. We did the same things, but we didn't.
Yes.
I mean, I could go on about some things that happened in Desert Shield, Desert Storm that I know that did not nowhere near happen and during GWAT, right?
Yeah.
Like Scud missiles with gas and the oil wells on fire, and there's some other a couple other crazy stories I could just insane about that, right? But we still have that camaraderie and in common, even though we have an age difference.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter at that event, and that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I could say, like, I don't have any combat time. I know we have guys that do. I know we have guys that have. Oh man, I have a buddy who has probably over 15 deployments with Rangers and stuff, and all walks of life, no matter what. In the civilian world, it's like everybody's trying to size each other up and stuff, but when you come to the military, especially with us who are out, and then we do have some members who are in, like, it's very easy to be able to get along and connect with each other.
Right.
And that's a very inviting part about VeteranMX. A lot of people are maybe have issues with, hey, we don't get to ride this. Guys, set up your own ride days. Talk to Peter. Talk to Jason. Talk to anybody. Talk to the track. Say, hey, we want to do a veteran ride day, VeteranMX ride day, and set it up with your local track. It's pretty simple to do, and you can set up your own ride days.
Yeah, we're seeing it, right?
Yeah.
Like on the Facebook page, we're seeing guys setting up, doing things in the Midwest and around the Illinois area, down south. They're setting things up. It's just that it's like we're the nucleus of people. Like up here in Northern California, we have like probably under 20, right? And so it's hard, to get everybody, because we're so spread out to a degree, and we have had a ride day. a couple years ago. But no, it's a good time, and
we have one coming up at Cheney Ranch.
Yeah, we hopefully that goes off without a hitch. Super.
Yeah,
I'm down for that. I'm going. I'm committed.
Yep.
And,
I got a bike now, so I'm gonna ride with you guys.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and Joe Best, I think, is honcho in that thing.
Yeah.
Good solid guy right there. So I'm hoping that thing goes off without a hitch.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to getting down there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up real quick. So I can guarantee you that we're probably going to have another part 2. We'll put together some more stuff because Rick's just too cool not to have on. And hopefully we got everything on here. If I don't, then pieces are going to have to do, and I'm going to piece them all together. And we'll have to make just a longer episode with multiple meetings because I'm down to do that.
No, it's super cool. And, we all... I mean, aside from our military service, we all love dirt bikes, right?
Absolutely.
Or there's a few out there that are couch guys, right?
Couch riders.
We got to give the quad couch guys some love.
Yep.
And there's a few, which is cool. We're not holding no grudges, man. But you guys do tear up the track, and you don't make the right ruts for us, but you blow the ruts out. But anyway. We got to give some love to those guys.
Absolutely.
But the whole dirt bike, bringing everybody together, super cool. Super cool to have you up in our area. And we did that ride day at Hollister a couple years together, and that was a good time, man.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can't wait to do the next one.
Yep.
And being this close to each other, we'll be seeing each other around. We'll be doing Over the Hill Gang. And I'll have my buddy Brendan on. He'll be doing the off-road section of this, so we might be able to coordinate a little bit with VeteranMX to start an off-road section for our more...
Well, I do. I race District 36 cross-country hare scrambles as well. So I can talk to you about hitting trees and roots if you want to know about that too, man.
Yep.
Because, I love moto, and that's where my roots are. Is in cross country, so.
And
anyway.
Brendan will be bringing in side-by-sides and off-road trucks as well. I know we do have some members or potential members that want to join, but they're like, hey, I just can't ride right now, Well, my buddy's a fabricator, and he will make you a cage, and he'll put you in a car. So we might facilitate that later on in the future, and we're going to talk to Brendan about that later on when I have a chance to. But Rick, I appreciate it. You taking the time.
Thanks for setting my gate up, man.
Oh yeah, I got
awesome.
you.
That YZ250 just went straight.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna add some. You guys will probably already see the clips. Hopefully you guys enjoy those. I want to be able to do that if we are able to come out here and meet people out at the track. So that's going to conclude our first episode of Beyond the Battlefield with the VeteranMX members. We have Rick Van Dyk here. And I'm Hunter Afonso, and we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it, and be ready for episode 2. We'll see you later.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yep, it's fun. That work?
That worked.